And then also who's going to be at the game, the Florida-Georgia game, because recruits are now able to go to the Florida-Georgia game. Not sure if everyone remembers that, but there was a big ordeal that has now been washed. So hopefully that'll keep the noise down of moving this thing out of Jacksonville, because that was a big complaint. But now we're able to have commits there. And for that, we're going to pass it over to Dave on the commits that are going to be there. Some big-time names that we could possibly look to flipping early on. And then we're going to talk about running backs, because that's something we lost, obviously, with Chauncey Bowens. I said that we need to get to this class simply due to the fact that we only walked away with one with Treyon Webb, and we lost a few with Lorenzo and Bowman to the transfer portal. So although our running back room is healthy, I enjoy it. It's a little light at the moment, especially with Cam Carroll going down. Could see him come back, but need to get two here, I think, to keep the train rolling. Dave?
Yeah, let me give a shout out to my guy Blake Alderman here for this list that he had sent me earlier today. So I'm going to go down just the commits that are supposed to show up. Miles Graham, Nazir Johnson, Adarius Hayes, Jeray Hawkins, Amir Jackson, Kendall Jackson, Josiah Davis, and Mike Williams will all be there so far for the game.
Real quick, not to interrupt you,
oh,
but I love the fact every time I feel like there's a big game, we've got the core there. And that's something that's huge, I believe, with what Billy in this class is doing, because there's always concern, like, are we losing somebody? Is somebody going to flip? I know there was an article this week, I didn't read it, but about Jamonte Waller being extremely committed to the Gators. And I think it's weekends like this that continue to solidify this class, which excites me. Again, I know you're on a little bit of a burner there, but just to reiterate, because I see people in the comments saying, we're going to lose this class or guys are going to flip. Like, I think, and Billy even talked about in a previous interview that, hey, we're trying to not only recruit guys that are going to be an impact, but be a part of this team for a long time. They want to be in for the long haul. They want to be here for 3 to 4 years. I don't have to worry about them leaving. And it starts now. And this is, again, where I think we all agree now. I think that consensus of can Billy recruit is over. I think he's done a phenomenal job. The question mark now is, can he win the big games, obviously? But CEO-wise, done a great job. Sorry, Dave, continue.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, like, a lot of these kids will visit other schools to say they shut down their recruitments. We talked about it last week. These kids want to see the free game if they're invited to it or something like that. So they get something out of it. But as far as the rest of the visitors go, Jameer Grimsley, I mean, this is a kid, he's set to go to Jacksonville, committed to Alabama early in the process. Florida and some other guys were after him there, but he's coming back around and his name's starting to come up a little bit more. And I do honestly think he's flippable down the road. We'll see. But it is interesting that he's taking this trip to Georgia, the Jacksonville, Florida, Georgia game. 4-star Jarrett Gibson, Texas commit, trying to attend here too. We'll see what happens with that one. I know he's been kind of iffy back and forth. Right now, I still think he sticks with Texas. You got 3-star defensive lineman Micah Borrow. He decommitted from Florida. Some thought he was going to go to Georgia, but now he's back to watch the game here in Jacksonville. So that one's a little interesting thing to look at there too. And then you got some 2025 guys, 5-star offensive lineman Solomon Thomas, Jacksonville, Florida kid, right in your backyard. Already visited Miami back in September, but you definitely want to get the wheels turning on these offensive linemen. Or offensive lineman recruiting has not been the best for the longest. Need to get some of these 5-star guys in here. 2025 5-star linebacker Zayden Walker, the number 1 linebacker in the 2025 class from Georgia, Southwest Georgia there. He's visiting 4-star edge D lineman Jalen Wiggins. Yeah, Wiggins, Tallahassee kid, top 100 defensive lineman there. 2025 4-star Hilton Stubbs, another Jacksonville top 50 safety there. So a lot of kids that are locally in this area that, obviously you want to keep the good kids at home and you want to keep the elite ones at home too. So this is the game you bring them to, and hopefully you can pull out a victory here. Defensive lineman edge Isaiah Gibson, he's a probably right now. We'll see if he shows up. And you got a few 2026 guys in Navir Carr, he's expected, and Brody Jennings, DB from 2026. So that's pretty much the list so far. It'll grow, I'm pretty sure, as the week on, and get it current. But that's right now what they have.
I think something important to note too is, like, we've talked all the time. Can you lose a recruit if losing games, or a recruit's going to leave because of the game? I think we're past that, right? But a W for Florida in this game could definitely win some recruits, or definitely get guys going, well, this shit might be the real deal. Like, we keep talking about it. We see a little bit of it. They're landing 5-star defensive linemen over Florida State because they're trash, like LJ McCray. Is it actually the real deal? Because if they go in and upset them, Jake Crane had a great take that this weekend could be a massive shortcut on the path back to where Florida needs to be. They take down Georgia. All of a sudden, they're now back. They're back in the driver's seat, right? I mean, when's the last time that this game, which has this game has always been the deciding factor of who plays in the SEC championship. Go back to all those years with Mark Richt. Those Georgia teams weren't bad. They had 1 or 2 losses. Guess who they lost to, big boy? They lost to the Gators in Duval, which gave away all hope to play in the SEC championship from the East Side because they lost this game. And again, we haven't been there in a while. Georgia's dominated it for the last few years like Florida did for a while. So you flip this game here with a team like Georgia that hasn't lost in who knows how long. It feels like we're over the 600-day mark in a regular season, which is just, I puked again when I said that. Sorry.
Yeah, I think what's really interesting about what you just said too, I think the last time Florida or Georgia was not in the SEC championship was in 2013 when Missouri and Auburn played each other. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look at that, but it's interesting when you think about it. Like, this game usually does decide who goes to the SEC championship for the most part. But I mean, like, Jake's right. I mean, a win like this it will bump you up in recruiting. Obviously, you beat the #1 team in the nation, Georgia, who's recruiting elite all the time. But like, I think it means more to win it than it does to lose it. I think if you lose it, I still don't. I don't think it's that big of a deal because people expect you to lose that game. And I know that a lot of these coaches have told these kids like, "Hey, look, we're still rebuilding. We need you. You'll play immediately." All this other kind of stuff. But if you win this game, yes, that'll definitely amp up a lot of things here for the future. And obviously, it'll give you more confidence in playing the rest of the schedule too.